Are you guys excited? Because I'm excited. So I've got both of my Ryzen CPUs here, my 3000 and my new 3600, my new 5600X, rather. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in the computer here. So I've got everything I need to install the new CPU. That includes the new CPU. I've got my little plastic enclosure that came with the original for safe storage of the old one until I figure out what to do with it. I've got my thermal paste applicator here. That's Thermal Grizzly's Conductonaut. And finally I have my screwdriver, my magnetic screwdriver. So the first thing we need to do here is unscrew the cooler. All right, and there you go. Okay, oh, there's one thing I forgot, which is paper towel. Some sort of cloth, paper towel, etc., and some rubbing alcohol, which you use to clean off the old thermal paste, which you have to reapply every single time. So otherwise you will hurt your thermal performance. Now for the important part. Installing the 5600X. All right. Now you see at the top right, there's that little golden triangle. And we are going to align that with the little triangle that is on the top right of the socket. The other thing is that the Ryzen lettering generally is facing towards the I/O plate. We're going to place that down, give it a little. So we placed it down into the socket with no downward force whatsoever. Gravity does all the work, and then we just give it a slight wiggle from the sides, just to kind of get it into place if you're not perfect, but you don't want to put any pressure on it whatsoever from down, because those pins will bend, and then you will be in for a bad time. Okay, now we put our retention lever back down. Okay, our CPU is installed. Now we've installed our CPU cooler, and when you're installing these, you want to make sure to install with even pressure on both sides, even downward force. So what you do is you count, as you're screwing in, you count 3 or 4 or 5 rotations with the screwdriver, and you do the exact same number on the other side. And you do that back and forth until you are completely finished. And that's going to evenly distribute your thermal paste across the IHS of the CPU, which is the integrated heat spreader. That's the metal part on top. Okay, and now for the most important part of our CPU installation, our little Ryzen sticker. Okay, we've got our sticker installed. So now we are truly representing Team Red here. Gonna close up the case. Alright, got the case closed up, and now we're gonna boot her up. Alright, moment of truth time here, folks. Alright. So that's the RAM. Part of post, and there's CPU, GPU. Oh,
Yep. So we're gonna give it a second, but sometimes you have to reset CMOS before you get a successful boot, but not this time. This time it only had to reset once. So now we've reset our CPU, so we're just gonna have to go through and make all our tweaks again. We're gonna have to re-enable DLCP. We're gonna have to change our FCLK frequency. That's our Infinity Fabric frequency. We're gonna change that to 1600, so we're at a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, and there you have it. Ryzen 5 5600X processor, idling at 4.5 gigahertz. Obviously, I'm not running anything yet, but let's see what we can do here in a quick blender. Alright, so we've got Blender. We're getting ready to run BMW. I have Ryzen Master open to monitor temperature. Right now, we're actually at 39 degrees Celsius, hovering on the high side of 39 degrees Celsius. So we're gonna run a quick blender here and see what happens. And here we go. Okay. Oh. There we go. As you can see, we're at 100% utilization. All cores are maxed at 4.2 gigahertz, which is actually about 2 gigahertz faster than the 3600X would run. At 100% utilization, it would run around 4. It would be like 4.01 usually. But look at our temperatures there. 59.7 degrees Celsius. They are climbing a little bit, but they're actually stable. The temperature's actually fairly stable. It's going up, going down, seems to be hovering around 60. And that's because the 5600X, I think, actually generates less heat than the 3600X. But our fans haven't even kicked on yet. Our fans have not even kicked on yet. Of course, my Cooler Master cooler has a rated TDP of 165 watts, which is about 100 more than the 5600X puts out. Okay, so we are about to finish up our Blender benchmark here. As you can see on Ryzen Master, we are still hovering around 60 degrees Celsius. We have climbed a little bit to 61. CPU utilization has fallen just a tad below 4.2. Alright, now last but certainly not least, I was able to throw a light overclock on that 5600X at 4.7 gigahertz. Nothing too crazy, just nothing too crazy. And I was actually able to pump my performance here in CPU-Z by a pretty decent margin. 651 single-threaded performance, up from the 602 that it was earlier. And I've still got temperatures under 70 degrees under full load, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Don't start it again.
Well, do the thing.
I don't remember what I said. This is a public service announcement. You should like and subscribe as fast as you can. Have you heard of COVID-19? Well, I don't have that, but I think I have COVID 2021, and I'm not sure how long I have left. So like and subscribe as fast as you can.
And we cannot forget the best part of the new CPU. Changing your flare on the PC Master Race subreddit to reflect the change. So that's always exciting.